Hey, death to the horseshoe crowd. Let's get in.
Hello,
What's up, dude?
I'm Daniel. What's your name?
I'm Daniel. I sing in a band called Conveyer.
So you released this latest album, No Future. Got a lot of songs on there, a lot of messages. What were you trying to accomplish with this album?
Nothing in particular. I just wanted to write what was on our hearts at the time we were in the studio. The record's like acknowledging what disheartens us as people in general and as people of faith, and kind of how we quantify and work through that with our faith to come out in a healthier place, in a more refined place.
Right.
A lot of doubting in it, there's a lot of questioning, but very much being realistic as dudes who believe in Jesus, knowing that who Christ is always and has always been, is and will always be on the outside of all these very jadedness causing social issues.
So as I was listening, I saw like notes of loss with people.
Yeah.
Is there several people in the band who've lost people and that's been hard on them?
Yeah, like a couple of us have lost parents. A couple of us have had very close friends, practically siblings, take their own lives. Just trying to be transparent about how it makes us feel. I think it's easy to talk about how it makes you sad, but it's for people who don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and people of faith specifically, people who, are trying to jump to conclusions about what they believe based on their emotions and how events are making them feel. I think we wanted to kind of give like a depolarized example of how we digest those feelings. Like I lost my father when I was 15 years old, and I'm very much at peace with what happened, but a big struggle for me in my 20s has been living with that desire for affirmation from a father figure. And I'm like, took me at age 27 to get past that, like to get to the point where I was like, you know what? I've received more than enough affirmation in different parts of my life for who I am today. And I really am desiring this, what at this point is no more than a pastime. Yeah, we have another song called Drift about no matter what, interceding, just being for someone who's close to you regardless of what they're going through, to the point where most people turn their backs.
I found that sort of unprecedented. It talked a lot about almost having like a dependence on someone else to like pull you out of whatever you were in.
Oh, yeah.
What was the idea behind that?
I feel like this record helped me realize that I've looked for validation in other people even when I'm not noticing I'm doing it. And that can be from a girl, that can be from Christians, that can be from any people in the scene that I look up to, people that I'm loosely involved with that inspire me. The record helped me look at how I wasn't staying in my own lane, whether it was on my personal life or musical path or whatever.
And then the other song that stuck out to me was No Future. You almost made a distinction between whoever you're a part of and the rest of the people in the world.
That song is about acknowledging everything that sucks and turning that into motivation to be the antithesis of those things. Instead of going, all the world is shit, I'm checking out of my entire value system. Because people who culturally adhere to it, the same thing I do, aren't behaving the way I think they should be. And that's often true. I am just as jaded on a lot of things that the Western evangelical culture has done, is doing, and probably plans to do. Does that make me go, guys, I don't know about Jesus? No. And I'm not trying to be ostentatious about it or be offensive or overzealous or whatever, but I think if you are at the point where you can throw him out with the bathwater so easily because of what Western Christianity is doing, then you're late to the game of checking out of Western Christianity. You're way late to the game. We call it the mid-20s freak out, my band does. The 25-year-old freak out. As soon as it becomes politically hard to identify as a Christian, one-way ticket. And that's, I'm not judging people in my life that I love that do that. It's just like, man, why are we letting culture affect what biblically is supposed to be like a personal, nothing shakes your ground stance? And I'm the person, dude, I am 9 out of 10 Christians in my hometown would call me a heretic because I believe the criteria for being a Christian is believing that Jesus Christ loves you. And any add-on I call BS. I always do. I won't stray from that at all. But yeah, that song's just about going, yeah, it sucks, and it's a reminder that I'm not a part of it. That's it, and neither is he. Like, if you want to be reminded further, read the Bible. Jesus is constantly on the outside of everything that, even looking toward the church, is being done that you shouldn't approve of if you are trying to be depolarized and not so politically identified with.
Your faith is obviously central to your life. And you have all these messages of how to not let it cause all these issues, not let them cause existential crises, because you're so, I suppose, grounded in your faith. What would you say you would want people to do or realize that would empower them to make a positive change on the world?
I don't want to make it sound like I figured anything out to avoid existential crises, because I haven't, because I go through them all the time. But day one, if someone was like, give me a reality about a relationship with Jesus Christ, like a random one you want to share, I'm like, well, it's admitting that you're going to be challenged with things that make you doubt and question your faith, which is super healthy. Because chances are, like anyone at especially at a young age, you're going to be indoctrinated by whatever culture you're surrounded by, and that does not necessarily mean it's biblical or even relevant to Jesus Christ at all. There's a lot of blanket statements that go around in like Western Christian culture. But I digress. I want to answer your question. I do not avoid existential crises. I go through them, and I remember that regardless of how this is making me emotionally feel, it does not change who Jesus Christ is and what he thinks of me and everyone else, and even the people that are pissing us off or me off. You know what I mean? I have to remind myself that part of what makes me upset sometimes is the culture I'm a part of. You know, subcultural music, we're always looking for something to rebuke if it's systematic. You know, so I have no advice for avoiding existential crises, because it's probably a good thing to go through it. If you're going through it, it means you're experiencing something that conflicts with how you were raised. And there's, dude, a lot of stuff. Like, I wasn't raised in a Bible bashing household. As soon as I hit 13, my parents were like, "Don't say the F word, you're good." And I'm like, "Sick, cool." I didn't even know why what he did was important, why it had to happen, and what he thinks about me, the reality of who Christ is, until I was like 20 years old. Despite being, told to go to church every Sunday and Sunday school, blah blah blah. My parents just never pushed it on me. And if they did explain him in the right context, I wasn't listening. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's something to avoid. I'd say it's something to embrace. It's to go. Oh, another thing, definitely walk into it not like stressed out, like not going like, dude, I'm gonna have to just completely, throw away this whole Christianity thing because this one topic, gay marriage, is threatening the entire paradigm I was raised in. Oh no, what am I gonna do? It causes panic. All my friends have just checked out because some political issue has challenged what mom and dad told them their whole life. And I'm thankful that my parents didn't do that to me. They talked about how much God loves people, and tried to raise me as much in that with that in mind as possible. There's nothing to avoid. It's how you handle it, period. Knowing that he is the Lord and loves you, regardless of how mad you are at Christians. I think it's interesting that we put so much stock in like targeting the church in America when we don't think about the rest of the planet, man. That like in Uganda, if you come out of the closet, you're like, oh, it's a death sentence. And in this country, our church is freaking out because an English word is being given to people who do not identify as heterosexuals. Don't look at it as a threat. As soon as your faith is challenged or provided with some doubt, things to question, these days, I rejoice. I get stoked because I know who Jesus Christ is to me and who he always will be to me. And I think he wants to work through those things with us. It's not some like, I don't know, man, my friends treat it like cancer. They get a shred of doubt and like, oh, I guess I'm not a Christian. Because it doesn't fall under the subscription I've been living in. So
I want you to nurture that. I want you to cultivate it. I want you to turn it to a place where you can have purpose, where you can help other people find what you found. If that's where you are. If you're not there and you talk to somebody about it, please do. I'm not trying to market hope. I'm encouraging what this is about to be unpacked in this community. everything about who I am was built and grown in rooms like this, and I'm so thankful for it. This is forward-thinking culture. Don't be silent here. Tell people what's on your mind. The song's called Heaven.